So welcome to Learning Plan 2. This is Sex Research is the title of Learning Plan 2. So we're going to actually talk about what sexology is, or as most things, ology, the study of sex. So yes, there is a scientific method to it, and many of you probably have heard about Freud, and that's probably the most famous person who talks about the id, the ego, the superego, and how I as a person have a huge penis envy when I'm 5 and want to be in love with my mother and all that sort of stuff. But there's more to it than just that. So you're going to learn a little bit about that. You're going to learn a little bit about the methodology of that. If you ever have major interest in really taking this to the next level, I highly recommend looking up Alfred Kinsey, Kinsey, his work on sexuality. We talk about a little bit in here, but he's got a really great book called Circle of Friends, which is his researcher that helped him and talks a little bit about how they went about the research and that relationship. And it's very interesting. It's not a dry book at all. It almost feels like fiction, but it's not. So that's that. So what we're going to talk about in sex research is you're going to look at, explaining what society and politics says about research on sex, because it's pretty much a no-no. It's always been, oh, we don't want to talk about that. So it's going to talk about how that's influenced that. We're going to talk about how you know what good research is, what's good quality versus what's not. We're going to talk about simple things about research just in general, about population, sample size, what's a representative sample, talking about bias, because a lot of, especially research in this area, is a little bit biased. We're going to talk about a hypothesis, what it's like to have an independent variable, a dependent variable, controls, placebos, and some of this might be review for you, but I think it's important to look at it from a sexual, the study of sex as a way, because, for example, if you're sampling individuals on their sexual behavior, you have to be careful about that because most people aren't going to be willing to talk about it. And an example that I use, even just simple questions, the U.S. Census asked people how many people are identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer. And the answer in the last census was 3%. And other research shows that it's been as much as 10 to 15% of the population identifies that. So now what happened to the other 12% that's missing? And the answer is nobody wants to put that on a Census Bureau application because they're afraid of what's going to happen. So is that a bias? Is that some kind of an ethnocentrism? Is that an issue with the sampling? So just keep that in mind. We're going to talk about cross-cultural research and helping avoid ethnocentrism and heterocentrism, so the belief that that everyone is heterosexual and everything needs to be that way, and that's how we approach the world. And then the last thing is you're going to talk about IRBs, or Institutional Review Boards. So that's really what Sex Research Lesson Plan 2 is all about. You are going to submit your investigative report during this plan, so that's the report that you're going to do where you interview 3 different women and 3 different males, and then using that research methodology to submit that assignment. And that's Lesson Plan 2.